What is up, Sooner Nation? I am Casey Mallon, and you are now, come on, in a Sooner state of mind. Make sure you subscribe on Apple Podcast and Spotify. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. From the preseason NFL to college kicking off, BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. Think you know your stuff? Get in on our winner-take-all $300,000 NFL Survivor Pool for the upcoming season. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today and use promo code BELIEVE and get in on the action. Bet online, the game starts here. On today's show, the Sooners show Bud Wilkinson some love. More preseason accolades for a bunch of Sooners. Another huge 5-star gift for Bill Bedenbaugh in the 2025 recruiting class. We get some clarification on SEC conference tiebreakers. And a week from today, people, we have Oklahoma Sooners football. That is what I am talking about. We will get into all of that. Woo! It's here, people. It's finally here. Sooner Nation, what's good? Nobody's finished. We ain't even begun. Going a little coffee today, people. Getting amped up. I am fired up because next week at this time, oh, baby, you know what it is. But before we get there, and in the summer, getting in the last hurrahs, went to see Kings of Leon at the Fabulous Forum last night. And I've seen these cats probably 20, 30 times. One of my favorite bands. The energy last night was absolutely mind-blowing. These cats played with the fever. Like, they have the new album out, and it brought an energy out, and they were all stoked to be there. They played some deep cuts. Got some great songs hadn't heard in a long time from many shows. You know, they have so many albums now, it's hard to get all the music in there. But they did a great job of mixing in old stuff, played a lot of stuff off the new album. And it was definitely a vibe in there. It was going crazy last night. The thing about the Kings crowd is they love them so much. They are so loud. They sing the songs louder than the band plays. Just an incredible event. And I'm so stoked because being in Los Angeles, I get to go to so many shows at the Forum. This is one of the most iconic venues for concerts in the world. Everybody has played there. I've seen the Kings there several times, but there was something in there last night. It was going off, and just an incredible gig. Incredible vibe, incredible performance. Kings of Leon doing it better than most bands out there. So if they're coming to a city near you, get out there and check it out. All right, that's the end of the music rant. You know, I like to get a little pop culture and other stuff in here, but we're talking football, baby. You know what's begun? College football, we are back. You know what else is back? Those sweet, sweet Bud Wilkinson era Sooner uniforms. Sooners are set to debut the Wilkinson era throwback unis September 7th against the Houston Cougars. A release from OU's athletic department. The uniform resembles what the Sooners wore from 1946 to 1956. It was a period of absolute dominance for the Sooners. They won 3 national championships, compiled a record of 103, 11, and 3, established a 47-game win streak, and went 6-1 in bowls during that stretch. 47-game win streak. That's still the gold standard of getting it done in college football. Hopefully that remains forever, unless our Sooners now go on a 48-game, but that's tough sledding. The Wilkinson era uniform features a white helmet, a white stripe down the middle, white pants, and a double stripe down each leg, and a crimson jersey with 3 stripes on the shoulders. These things look freaking sweet. I am pumped for it. Hopefully we get him in more than one game, but they look so rad. They did a whole photo shoot around them. And if you haven't seen those photos, hop on the X's or Facebook or whatever the hell you need to get them and check them out. BV absolutely nailed the Bud vibe. You put the pictures side by side, just holding the football, wearing the shirt, looking cool. I dig these unis. They go hard. We're going to look good out there on September 7th. The athletic department also announced they will retire the Rough Riders uniform, which debuted in 2014, and they've used it at least once per season. But the Sooners still plan to use the Unity uniform, and that one's pretty sweet too. So, such an iconic brand, but you can't be afraid to get into these alts, sell a few, make some bucks. But I am stoked the way these things look. It's going to be rad. Last couple of shows, we've been talking about all the preseason awards that Sooners have been popping up on all these lists. Keep churning, baby. There is more. Offensive lineman Branson Hickman has made his second preseason award watch list. He's already on the Outland Trophy watch list, and now he is on the Remington Trophy watch list too. That's for the best center in college football. So more Sooner love. Stutzman and Bowman, both named to the preseason AP All-America team. That was last week. Stutz and Bowman, second team defense on the AP's team. Well, that's the press. What do the coaches think? Coaches showed these cats even more love. Stutz and Bowman, both named to the 2024 preseason coaches All SEC first team. First team. That's the coaches in the league voting on this, and they got our dudes up there on that. Pretty special. Why, you might ask? Well, Billy Bowman had 6 INTs last year. 3 of those went to the house for touchdowns. Started 13 games for the Sooners, 63 tackles, 3 TFLs, and 4 pass breakups. Also, like I said, an AP All-American second team pick. And Stutzman, he's led the Sooners in tackles for 2 straight seasons, had 104 last year, 16 TFLs, people, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and an INT. And I think both of these cats will play their best football this year. And if the previous seasons are any indication of what's going to happen this year, you better watch out. ESPN released their top 100 college football players list heading into the season. We got 3 Sooners on there. At 74, the Purdue transfer, Deion Burks. Got a quote saying he looks like a thicker, stronger version of Hollywood Brown. That is good company if you can keep it. He's going to take over for that slot position left by Drake Stoops. Stoops had like 900 yards and 10 touchdowns last year. And if this cat can do anything that Stoops was doing, I think he's got more physical tools. Stoops was a great route runner and just a student and a hard worker. I don't know if Burks is putting in the work like Stoops did, but if he did, you better watch out because this dude is going to go off. We got a little taste of it in the spring game. I think there is plenty of more of that to come, and it's going to be a problem for teams. I'll tell you that. Coming in at 73, just one slot under Burks, Billy Bowman. He started in 29 of 35 games. First team All Big 12 last year. We mentioned the interceptions. I think this is a little low for him, but he has a nose for the football and a knack for the big play. When they need it the most, this cat shows up, and I think he's for sure a first-round draft pick in the NFL next year, and I don't know if he can do better than 6 INTs and 3 pick sixes, but we're going to find out. Either way, he will contribute and be a major part of what this team does on defense. And then coming in at 32 on that list, obviously Danny Stutzman. All everything for this team. he's grown so much in the time that he's been at OU, and we talked about it last show. He could have left. He wanted to come back and finish things. He wanted to be the guy that leads this team into the new SEC era. When it comes to linebackers, we've had a ton at Oklahoma, but you think of Boz first, Brian Bosworth. And there's been a ton, don't get me wrong, but this cat, I think, can be in that company of all-time iconic Sooners and Sooner linebackers specifically. He's got a love for the program. He's got a love for his teammates. He's got a love for the coaches, and he freaking loves football. And he loves being a Sooner. And I think the sky's the limit on what this guy can do too. And I think he'll also be a first-round draft pick in April's draft. But you can't say enough about what this guy does for the team, not only on the defensive side of the ball, just everything. He's a heartbeat, and you see that passion in the way that the dude plays the game, and I am completely stoked for this defense and for what both these guys are going to do. They both also made the Chuck Bednarik Award watch list. Nick Anderson made the Biletnikoff Award watch list. That's for the best receiver in the nation, coming off a really strong season. And now with the way things are shaking out, he's going to have not only opportunity, but responsibility. We'll get into a little bit of that too. Nick Anderson and Jackson Arnold both named to the Earl Campbell Tyler Rose Award watch list. It's pretty good company. Earl Campbell, not too shabby there. Big time running back. I mean, hate the school, but love the Houston Oilers. Love the way that guy played. Eugene Brooks and Jaden Jackson named true freshman preseason All-Americans by ESPN. That's pretty good. Jaden Jackson looks ready, baby. Oh, I'm getting stoked for this cat. And 11 Sooners made the Reese's Senior Bowl watch list. Of course, Bowman and Stutzman, you know they were on there. Hickman, we mentioned, Burks, Andrell Anthony, Jaleel Farouk, Ethan Downs, Trace Ford, Demonic Williams, Connie Walker, and Woody Washington. Why is this significant? The Senior Bowl has become the most fertile ground for NFL draftees over the last few years. The NFL teams coach these guys up. They get a lot of interview with the staff. They get to see them. And I'm telling you, people get drafted off of these rosters left and right. Most of the participants go. And, for us to have 11 on there says something about this program and where it's going. This one goes to 11. The Sooners also added a player with a name we hope to see on that list in the next few years, if he even makes it to his senior year, which he probably will go early. Continuing to build on a monster 2025 recruiting class, Bill Bedenbaugh does it again, people. The Sooners land one of the most coveted offensive tackles in the country. 5-star offensive lineman Michael Fasusi committed to the Sooners this week. There was lots of people jockeying to get this cat, a prized jewel in the 2025 recruiting class. And know what I'm digging is what you're hearing from all of these top recruits. Fasusi said, so my deciding factor was actually development. Who develops the best O-lineman? Coach B. Who puts the most O-linemen in the NFL? Coach B. To make that even better, he's a great person, a very humble man. You see the numbers that are put out. He's never going to talk about that. He still wants to get better every day, and that's what he's going to do for me. I said this earlier. It's not going to hurt being with the best O-line coach in the country. I am down with that. He continued, it's amazing with Coach Bedenbaugh. That's what it's always been. Somebody you can rely on as a coach, as a mentor, as a father figure. That's what I see Coach B as. Our relationship has been tight from the beginning. They're doing something more than just developing football players here under this regime. They're building contributors to society. They're turning these young men into grown men. They have an interest in what happens to them, not only off the field, but what happens beyond football. They want them to succeed no matter what it is. But with a guy like Fasusi, he's probably going right to the NFL. You look at the line of players that Bedenbaugh has put into the NFL. Hopefully, this continues every year. Everybody wanted this cat, including Texas and Texas A&M, but it was the Sooners that got it because they're doing stuff the right way. I mean, we got our coaches, we got our staff, we have one of the best programs, one of the best athletic departments in the country, and cats are responding to that. Completely stoked. And the Sooners in this process under BV, knowing they're going to the SEC, saw the way that this team had to be built. And they're doing that up front on both sides of the ball. And they're stacking 5 stars in the trenches on offense and defense. And if you ask, could I be more stoked? The answer is no, I could not be more stoked. Love the direction of this program. I couldn't be more stoked, but Captain Buzzkill and the Bring Downs, unfortunately, are making an appearance on the show today. Bad news out of fall camp for the Sooners. We learned that Jaden Gibson would miss the entirety of the season. It's a total shame because dude was really starting to ball, getting those extra reps while Anthony and Farouk were coming back. Expected a lot of contributions from this guy in this season, and he is going to miss the whole thing, and that totally sucks. Hopefully he can heal up and get back to this point next year. He's young. He's going to have a great staff following him, giving him his, PT to get back, and I think he will be all good, but it's just a letdown and a disappointment for the guy because he was ready to have a great season. He's gone. Andrel Anthony looks back. He seems to be back. Coach said no limitations. He was balling before he got hurt against Texas, 2 S's last year. So thinning a little bit. I don't know if they need to rush Anthony out there, even if he is all the way back. Maybe put him on a pitch count. Probably aren't going to need him the first game. We'll see what happens with Houston and Tulane. A couple wild cards, a little better program than what Temple's offering football-wise. So we just need to get him back and healthy and full speed, and hopefully he can pick up where he left off. Obviously, that was with Dylan Gabriel, and now it's JFA, but I'm sure they've been working a lot during practice and after practice to kind of get that chemistry going and the timing. So as long as dude is back for Tennessee, I think we will be all good. But that Jaden Gibson injury does create opportunity for other players. Petaway, Brennan Thompson, J.J. Hester. Now, Thompson and Hester, both of those cats have struggled with injury, but both should and will get their opportunity, especially with Gibby going down. Can they run with it? Let's hope so. Thompson's got that speed, that over-the-top threat. If they can do that and kind of, stretch the field and let Burks work on those crosses and a couple of these tight ends, could be good stuff. So I'm excited to see what those guys can do with added opportunity. And what will the young guys do? Can any of these freshmen and sophomores get in on the action? We got a lot of speed. I know it's tough for these guys to get on the field, but hey, opportunity's there. What you do with it, that's on you. So I know they'll be coached up, and we'll just see who can get in there and take that opportunity. I mentioned one of the best athletic departments in all of the land. Well, they had a very good year, financially really good. University of Oklahoma Athletics Department posted a record-setting fundraising year during 23 to 24. Securing $110.3 million in total donations and pledges. No sharks with lasers, but $110 million. Righteous bucks. And it's the 4 top fundraising efforts have come the last 4 years, but this last year was the most. So people are buying in, baby, and they're doing it. They're physically buying in with their dollars. So it's a good time to be investing in the Sooners. And if you got that extra cash, go ahead and throw it at them. We can use more NIL. You can always use more NIL. Tie me up with your ties, Ty. The SEC has announced its set of tiebreakers for the 24 season now that there is no divisions and 16 teams. All right, we're going to get in the weeds here a little bit, but stick with me. In the event of a tie between teams competing for a spot in the SEC championship game, the following procedures will be used in descending order until a tie is broken. First, head-to-head competition between the tied teams. Record versus all common conference opponents among the tied teams. Record against highest, best placed common opponent in the conference standings and proceeding through the standings among the tied teams. Cumulative conference winning percentage of all conference opponents among the tied teams. Capped relative scoring margin versus all conference opponents among the tied teams. Blah, blah, blah. Will include a cap of 42 points scored on offense and 48 allowed on defense. Random draw the tied teams. If we're getting down here, I don't see us getting to spots E and F, but maybe we do. If the regular season standings determine a clear conference champion and two or more teams are tied for second place, the conference champion will be the home team in the SEC championship game, and the tie-breaking procedures will be used to determine its opponent. If tie-breaking steps produces standings with two teams tied for first place in the conference, both will qualify for the championship game. To decide the seeding, both teams will progress through the two-team tie-breaking procedures until the tie is broken. Hawkshoe City. It's never going to happen. Maybe they get to 2 or 3, but I doubt we're getting into the 5th and 6th steps. Either way, SEC championship game, December 7th, Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Hopefully our Sooners will be in that game. But if they're not, it's all good. You know why? Because the college football playoff will no longer use conference titles as a tiebreaker to determine its field. Given that the 5 highest-ranked conference winners will receive automatic bids into the 12-team tournament. CFP made the announcement. Heather Dinich of ESPN. CFP had 4 teams for the past 10 years, but now triple the number of playoff teams. Oh, baby, 12 teams. That is what I'm talking about. Top-ranked conference winners will get a first-round bye. Other tiebreakers are still in place, including strength of schedule and head-to-head results. All I know, people, we got a 12-team college football playoff, and it is going to be completely awesome, and I am totally stoked for it. Got to hydrate in the summer. It's a lot harder than you think. If you're not getting that potassium, getting those calf cramps, got to get that deep down body thirst. But you know what? That's enough of all that crap. If we handle our business, we're going to be there. So, but before that, let's get to the stuff that does matter. Boars and ghouls. We've got a game coming up. An actual game. No more talk. A week from tonight. Are you freaking kidding me? It's here, people. We made it. The drought is over. We are back in business. On Friday, August 30th, our Oklahoma Sooners will host the Temple Owls to kick off our inaugural season in the SEC. I don't know if you've heard, but in the SEC, it just means more. Sooners open up as a 42.5 point favorite with the over at 59.5. I think we cover the point spread. I don't know if we hit the over, though. I don't expect Temple Owls to score, but who knows? Hey, that's why they play the game. So let's take a quick look at those Temple Owls. They play in the American Athletic Conference. They finished 3-9 last season. Head coach Stan Drayton is going into his 3rd season. And as of last week, Drayton had yet to name his starting QB. That's not good. He said several times this month that the Rutgers transfer Evan Simon, Forrest Brock, and Tyler Douglas are all in the mix to land the job. They do like Douglas. He's a true freshman. I'm not sure that this game will be the ideal situation for a freshman QB to get their first start. You could screw this guy up. So maybe let him watch from the sidelines or get a couple drives in late in this thing. So I do think they'll go with Simon. Like I said, Brock getting a few drives, and maybe the freshman gets in late, but you don't want to destroy that cat's confidence. Last year's leading rusher, Darvon Hubbard, he transferred to Northern Arizona. So for the most part, it's a completely revamped running back room. Last year was definitely a running back by committee approach. That being the case, no back had more than 83 carries last year. So I don't know if someone stepped up to take that role over, but we'll find out next Friday. Joquest Smith does return, but he only had 71 carries last year. So as a team, they rushed for 3.5 per carry and just 95 yards a game with only 9 rush TDs on the year. That's bad news going up against the Sooners defense. At receiver, they do return Wright and Anderson, Baines, and the guy they call the president, John Adams, second president of the United States, Washington Adams, Jefferson, Madison, Monroe, Quincy Adams, Jackson, Van Buren, Harrison, Tyler, Polk, Taylor, Fillmore, Pierce. I could go on, but this is a show about football. Adams, 6'2", 190. But I don't know what he's going to be able to do with the uncertainty at quarterback. I don't expect any of those dudes to go off in this game. I think it's going to be tough to get anything. As a team last year, they only averaged about 21 points a game and scored 0 points off of turnovers. And they only converted 38% on third down. And as a team, they had 16 interceptions and 9 fumbles. Defense wasn't much better. As a team, they gave up almost 200 yards rushing per game at 4.6 per carry. And they gave up 25 rushing touchdowns. Sensing a formula for next Friday. A little better in pass defense. They gave up only about 240 yards per game and 27 pass touchdowns on the season. They did let teams convert at 47% on third down, and they gave up over 35 points a game. Let teams convert in the red zone at 85%, with 66% of those red zone scores coming as touchdowns. That's good for our Sooners. And to be honest, I don't see a scenario where the Owls are not completely overwhelmed. I don't think they'll be able to stop the run. I don't think they'll be able to stop the pass. And that OU defense, they're going to create at least a couple turnovers. And there is lots of youth on that Temple Owls offensive line. That's going to be bad news for them. This Zach Alley defense will be bringing the heat, although I don't think Alley's going to have to get deep into his bag or even open that bad boy up. I think you'll see a lot of base defense from the Sooners. I don't think we'll get into any of the blitz schemes or anything like that. Maybe we'll get a little bit, but I think it's going to be very vanilla. And Sooners should be able to just line up and dominate without showing any of the good stuff, the hidden gems. We're going to be able to save that, tuck it in the pocket. We'll wait on that. And this will not be a real barometer of where this OU team is and what they will be, but it will be a good first step of a long journey that we hope culminates in the middle of January. But for now, baby steps, one step at a time. Can't get to the end. You got to enjoy the journey. So, hey, it's starting next Friday. Next Friday, a week from today. So unless a ton of crazy stuff goes absolutely terribly for the Sooners, and I'm talking a ton of fluky bad luck, even with that happening, I don't think there's any way these Owls can hang with the Sooners on any level. I mean, a bunch of weird crap has to happen. Everything should be working for the Sooners on both sides of the ball. I am stoked to see what JFA looks like. And if you ask BV, he said Jackson's doing good. Again, from a leadership standpoint, showing up every day. He's been consistent. He's been challenged. And the guys he's been going up against every day, I think is making not only him, but the offense better. All 3 levels of that defense, you got guys that can play for most programs in the country, if not all of them. I don't like to anoint people. I think that we'll see how they play this year, but we have experience at all three levels to have an awfully good group, and that's what they're facing. Jackson is facing every single day. He's going up against Stutz, Bowman, Williams, Downs, Lewis, McKenzie, Woody, Walker, Gentry, all these cats. He's seeing it every day. How do you get a guy ready to start the season? You show him a defense of this caliber. I know it's made that whole offensive side of the team better. If you ask Stutzman about JFA, he said, I think he's kind of won over the locker room. Just everyone can really trust him and say, we got our guy. And I think without a doubt in my mind, he's going to lead us to everything we want to do. Sounds pretty good to me. That's coming from one of the best players on the defense, so he's got to like what he's seeing. Couple questions I have: who will step up at receiver? We got a lot of guys there, a lot of opportunity. Let's see who can snag it and not let it go. How will these tight ends contribute? Roberts and Sharp. Sharp is chomping at the bit to get out there. I can't wait to see what these guys do, not only in the run game and in protection, but actually getting downfield and being legitimate offensive threats, contributors to the aerial attack of this offense. If the offensive line looks cohesive, which maybe this week won't be our best game. We'll see who gets in there. They've been dealing with some injuries and shuffling pieces, but hopefully we can get some continuity there and stick with the starting five and move through the season with them. Everybody's going to get to play on Friday night, but we'll see who the top five is as of when we're recording this show. They have not released the official depth chart. I'm sure we're going to get that as soon as I hit send on this and post it. We'll probably get it, but we'll see what happens there. If that offensive line does get the cohesion, which running backs want to get a leg up to battle to be the dude? No one could do that last year. I think Sawchuk and Barnes will be the first couple dudes that you see, but how much Taylor Tatum will we see? How much Hicks will we see? Robinson, too. We got these young bloods. We're going to get to see them play in this game for the most of them, but will they be able to carve out a real role for themselves in this offense? You got a couple of studs in front of you, but hey, you just got to get out there and grind. And a little bonus treat. The OU Athletic Department announced it will honor the 74 and 75 national championship OU football teams during the game against Temple next week. This season marks the 50th anniversary of OU's 1974 title. Doesn't seem possible. Former head coach Barry Switzer and many of his players, coaches, and support staff members from those two teams will be recognized on Owen Field at halftime against the Owls. They will also be celebrated during a private Thursday night gathering. I would love to be at that Thursday night gathering, hearing those stories. I'm sure just it's going to be an incredible evening. So as the king would say, let's hang half 100 on him. I don't think that's out of the question by any means. Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose, and I can't wait. I get to use that for one more week until we start playing on Saturdays. So I'm taking every opportunity I have to give my Friday Night Lights some love. Now, we do have a few week 0 games this weekend. Nothing great, but we do have Florida State versus Georgia Tech coming from Dublin. McAfee got a little lubricated on his show today. Didn't realize that those Guinness hit so hard over there. What'd they expect? Now, no word on if Bono or the Edge will be there, but they move in mysterious ways. Then, on Saturday, August 31st, that opens a full slate of games. Got some tasty matchups. Week 1, Clemson versus Georgia, Penn State versus West Virginia, Miami versus Florida, and Notre Dame at Texas A&M. Then on Sunday, it's USC versus LSU from Las Vegas. I cannot wait to see Tebow get smashed. You can run from competition, but you can't hide. I will not be the next coach at LSU. Scumbag. It's back, people. How beautiful. College football is back, and I am here for it. Oh, so stoked. Make sure you like and subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify so you do not miss any of the good stuff. Also, head on over to Believe.com. That's BLEAV.com. Go to shows, type in Sooner State of Mind, and you are locked. Ton of great content. Every team, every topic, everywhere. Believe.com. And if you want to watch Sooner State of Mind, head on over to YouTube. Search the Football Dudes. We are there. Like and subscribe there too, because we have obviously a lot of Sooner content, but we have a ton of great NFL content too. You don't want to miss any of that, and you don't have to, and it's all free. You just got to sign up, baby. It's that easy. Sooner State of Mind is brought to you by Bet Online. My name is Casey Mallon, and I am in a Sooner state of mind. We're back.